Hello and welcome to Bloom and Beyond. This episode is titled Loving a Lie, the Devastation of Being in a Relationship with a Narcissist. There was a time when I believed I had met someone truly special. He was charming, attentive, and he had a way of making me feel like I was the most important person in the entire world. We had so much in common. It was almost eerie how we seemed to mirror each other's thoughts, interests, and even past experiences. He showered me with compliments, said all the right things, and made me feel seen and valued in a way that I hadn't felt in a long time. But it was all a lie. The illusion of the perfect match was what he was. If you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know how intoxicating the beginning can be. They study you, they mirror your interests, adopt your passions, and convince you that they are your soulmate. In reality, they're simply crafting a version of themselves that is designed to pull you in, gain your trust, and secure your admiration. And it works. I believed every word he said. When he told me I was the love of his life, I believed him. When he spoke about our future, I envisioned it as he painted it. I trusted that our connection was real, that his words were genuine. But looking back, I see now that he wasn't in love with me. He was in love with the way that I made him feel about himself. And then the lies unraveled everything. Little things didn't add up, but I ignored them. I wanted to believe in the version of him that I'd fallen for. He lied about small things that didn't even seem to matter much at the time. But then the bigger lies started to surface. Lies about his past, his job, and his relationships. And then the biggest lie of all. He was married. I remember the moment that I found that out. The way my stomach dropped, the way my mind raced, trying to make sense of all of it. The way I replayed every conversation we had, every promise, every look, and I realized that none of it had been real. He had looked me straight in the eyes and told me he loved me, all while lying about the most fundamental truth of his life. And I knew something was up before that, but I ignored it. The truth is, I knew something wasn't right. I felt it in my gut. There were nights that I woke up with a deep ache in my chest, and knowing that something was off, even if I couldn't explain it, my whole body knew before my brain could accept it. I silenced that voice in my brain. I told myself I was being paranoid. I gave him the benefit of the doubt again and again. And that's the thing about a narcissistic relationship. They train you to override your instincts, to question your intuition, to gaslight yourself. You slowly begin to believe them over you, and it changes you. The constant lies and emotional manipulation don't just leave you heartbroken. They actually rewire your brain. You become hypervigilant, anxious, and stuck in a trauma loop that keeps replaying what went wrong. You can't sleep, you can't relax. You stop trusting your inner voice, the one that's supposed to protect you. And the fallout, it doesn't just affect you. The aftermath is bigger than the relationship. The impact of that relationship didn't stay neatly confined to my own heart. It bled into everything. My family, my friendships, my ability to function day to day. I was withdrawn. I questioned everyone. I doubted the people who had been honest with me. Because if he could look me in the eyes and say, "I love you," while living a double life, how could I ever fully believe anyone again? My children saw the shift in me. My friends noticed I wasn't the same. It's hard to show up for the people you love when your trust in humanity has been shattered. The ripple effects of emotional abuse are real, and they don't just disrupt your relationship, they disrupt your whole world. There were stolen years. One of the hardest things to come to terms with is the time that I lost. The relationship itself didn't last long, but the damage that it left behind stretched on for years. I wish I could say that when I walked away, I was able to move forward and put it behind me. But the truth is, I carried the weight of all that experience for far too long. He not only lied to me, but he robbed me of time, of trust, of the ability to fully open my heart again. I spent years trying to make sense of what happened, replaying moments in my mind, wondering how I had been so deceived. I questioned my judgment. I built walls around myself. I became skeptical of love, wary of people's intentions, and reluctant to believe in anything too good to be true. That's the cruel part about being in a relationship with a narcissist. It's not just about the lies they tell when they're with you. It's about the lingering effects, the self-doubt, and the emotional exhaustion that follows. And that's the part that makes me the angriest. Not that he was a liar, because I can accept that some people are simply manipulative and self-serving, but the fact that he left scars that lasted years, that he took a part of my life that I can never get back, that's the hardest part to forgive. So now I move on to trying to reclaim my life. I won't let him steal any more time. I won't let his deception define me. And while it's been a long journey, I'm learning to move forward, not just with caution, but with intention. I'm slowly rebuilding trust, not just in others, but in myself. That gut feeling I once ignored, I honor it now. I listen to my body and I trust that deep knowing. I will never ignore it again. And for anyone who has felt the same pain, I want you to know that you are not alone. You're not foolish for believing in love, and you're not weak for falling for the charm. And most importantly, you're not broken beyond repair. I've come to understand that narcissists often choose partners that they admire, even envy. They're drawn to people who embody qualities that they lack: strength, kindness, empathy, authenticity, charisma. So if you were chosen by a narcissist, it's not because you were weak or naive. It's because you were powerful, radiant, and deeply human. They wanted to emulate you, to absorb your light and claim it as their own. But your light is not theirs to take. The fact that they targeted you speaks to your worth, not your weakness. Never forget you were chosen because you are extraordinary. Healing takes time. And while I can't get back what I lost, I can choose how I move forward. I can choose to live, to love again, not in spite of what happened, but because I refuse to let it define the rest of my story. If you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, I hope that this episode reminds you of all your strength, your worth, and your light. You were never broken. You were targeted because you shine. You are healing, you are rising, and you are never alone on this journey. It has taken me 8 years to be able to discuss this without getting too emotional, and let alone sharing it publicly. I appreciate you listening, and I hope you share this type, if you do share this type of experience with me, that this episode has helped you with your healing. See you next time.